to another morning brew with your girl Germaine. And yes, I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend. Now we're back to reality, right? School's in session. We're in coming into the fall season. Where is time going? Where's time going? But here we are. Here we are. So I hope you have a few minutes to sneak out for a coffee break so you can join me on Morning Brew with Germaine. And today's brew is going to be talk back to the inner critic, to your inner critic. So you're not crazy. If you find yourself talking to yourself, trust me, you're not crazy. You're just dealing with that inner critic on the inside of you. So that's what the brew is today. So, hey, if you're chiming in, make sure that you let me know what you're drinking. I'm brewing my coffee right now. So, this waiting until 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to get a cup of coffee when I wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I want to drink my coffee then. But I'm patient. I can wait. I definitely don't want to be drinking 2 cups of coffee in the morning before I get started on my morning brew. So, anyway, if you are chiming in, let me know what you are drinking today. You don't have to be a coffee drinker to also take a coffee break. It's just the phrase. People take coffee breaks or they take breaks all the time, right? So I just want you to join in with me if you have a few minutes and just get your inspiration for the day because you know how we do. We take a pause so we can pour into purpose. And so as you're coming in, and even if you decide you just want to listen and watch from afar, I appreciate that as well. So, hey, whatever you're drinking, may it be coffee, tea, juice, soda, water, smoothies, whatever it is, enjoy it as you enjoy the morning brew with Germaine. So let's get into this message, okay? Talk back to your inner critic. We're going to focus on silencing self sabotage today. Is that you? Do you find that you are someone that self sabotages? Who, if so, this definitely this coffee brew is for you. Okay, this brew is for you. So let's talk about some things. And most people are fighting battles no one can see. Is that you? I want you to really put yourself in this message today, right? Especially the ones happening in their mind. How many people are constantly in war with their mind? Are you in war? I feel like this week for myself, I don't know if it was so much in war with my mind opposed to just my body getting the proper rest that it needed and not really exhausting myself. And I think I was more so struggling with that. My mind was trying to tell me, along with my body, go lay down, go get some rest, right? But, we fight against those things in order to be able to get done what we need to get done, only to find out we go into crash mode. So, to prevent that, let's talk about this inner critic. So, the inner critic sometimes is so subtle, but it's persistent, right? Think about what's going on. Hold on one second. Let me grab this. Let me grab my coffee this morning because you may have already had yours, but right now I need mine. So, give me a sec as I pull it together. But no, we can still talk as we are going through this morning brew. So, gotta grab my hazelnut creamer. I'm drinking hazelnut coffee today. That's one of my favorites, along with hazelnut creamer. It's a lot of hazelnut. You know what's so funny? As much as I love having my coffee in the morning, I don't know how much I like the taste of actual strong coffee. I definitely don't see how people drink black coffee with nothing in it. But I guess it's an acquired taste, and they say it's actually better for you. Um, I haven't gotten there yet. So, and I don't know if I'll ever get there. But anyway, let's get back to this brew today. So, sometimes your inner critic, it shows up as doubt when you're trying to be bold, as shame when you're stepping into your purpose, and as fear when you're on the edge of growth. And a lot of us probably struggle, especially with the last one, fear. And when I say struggle with fear, where you allow fear to control, to be the driver in your life. opposed to you putting fear in its place and driving, you know, the direction you need to go and not letting fear make choices for you. Hold on, this might be a little loud as I'm stirring in this Yeti tin mug. I try not to hit the sides, but I can't help it. Okay. All right, guys. All right. All right. So let's get into it. Okay. That's enough with my coffee. It's done. Ready to go. All right. So here's the truth. You don't have to agree with that voice on the inside that's constantly being so persistent, trying to guide and tell you what you should be doing. Um, or you just find it's a struggle. You're at war with that inner voice that's on the inside, which is your critic, your biggest critic, right? So, in this brew, I just want to remind you that the inner dialogue needs just as much discipline as your outer actions. Did you get that? Yeah. The inner critic, that inner critic, it needs that inner dialogue that's constantly in your head, in your ear, you know, it needs discipline as well as your outer actions. So, we're coming to a place right now. This is when we start pouring into purpose. This is the part that pretty much, hopefully, it brings some clarity. It gives some things that you can align with your life. You can actually see, maybe it fits somewhere in your life to say, you know what, I remember when on that morning brew, when they talked about that. And I find myself in that place right now. So, you know what we do? We take a moment and we're going to begin to start pouring, okay? So, let's start pouring and here we go. We're going to talk about reframe your self-talk. Now, what does that mean? Would you speak to someone you love the way, excuse me, the way you speak to yourself? Start changing the narrative from, these are some examples. I always mess up. Change that to, I'm learning. You see the difference there? Do you see the difference? So sometimes you feel like you always are telling yourself from a negative standpoint instead of an affirmation or affirming standpoint where you can affirm those thoughts in your mind. You can encourage yourself, so don't always go to the negative, looking at the worst case scenario when you're dealing with this critic that's within you. So let me say that again for an example. The way you may approach something, I always mess up. Let's change our language and let's look at it from this standpoint. I'm learning. Okay, I made a mistake. I messed up here, but you know what? I'm learning in the process, because if I can learn this, then guess what? I may never repeat that mistake again, or I may never mess up again, right? That's the point that I'm making. So, here's another one from, I'm not enough. I'm just not enough. I want you to change that language. Let's look at it from this standpoint. I'm becoming more every day. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? Whereas you're affirming yourself in the I'm becoming more every day, you're encouraging yourself. You're not keeping yourself in bondage by telling yourself what you're not, but you're speaking life into yourself, telling yourself what you can become. Words are so powerful. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself living out those things people have said to you if it was negative and they tried to put you in a box. Or even with yourself, if you told yourself what you're not versus who you are, you will find yourself living that story out, opposed to the story of, I see myself as this. I got excited just saying that, right? You feel the energy, right? So I want you to begin to change the narrative in your self talk, how you speak to yourself. Okay. So let's pour a little more. Okay, this should be, I need to take a sip. Hold on. Mm, that is so good. It's hot, but it's good. Hold on. It's really hot, but it's so good and creamy. The coffee is creamy. All right, so let's pour a little more into purpose. Challenge the lie, affirm the truth. Those were some examples that I just said. The lie that you tell yourself versus affirming the truth. So let's get into this. Hold on. Let's get into this. Hold on one second because I just saw a message and I want to make sure we're all good. Mm, mm. Hold on. All right. So let's get into this. Challenge the lie and affirm the truth. The critic is loud. You ever realize that? It's that loud negative voice in your head that's always trying to, the image of I got God on one side, I got the enemy on the other side, right? So it's that loud voice that has to be the loudest in your head, but it's the small, still voice that will always affirm that truth, right? You just have to be in a position to pay attention. So think of this, the critic that's so loud, but that doesn't make it right just because it's loud in your head, right? When you hear the lie, take a pause, speak back with truth, affirm it, affirm who you are. Stop speaking the lies over yourself, the things that people have instilled in you. Sometimes you got to unplug, you got to reset, you got to cancel that old programming that people have tried to call you who you're not. And they didn't affirm you for who you were. And now you begin to believe that lie. So, what I need you to do, if this is you, I need you to begin to affirm and speak truth to who you are or who you want to be, even if you're not sure who you are just yet. So, I want you to also know you are not unqualified. You're not behind. You're still becoming. Every day we wake up, it's another day on our life's journey to become who God has purposed us to be. So just think about that. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're still becoming. And if you're going in the right direction, if your mindset is in the right place and you want to make changes and you want to see new things happen in your life, then just know you're becoming on this journey, okay? All right. So this is the final pour into purpose. You're not stuck. You're growing. Just because progress is invisible doesn't mean it's not happening. I need to take a sip on that. Hold on. So you're healing, you're shifting, you're learning new ways to be gentle with yourself. So keep that in mind. So if you are someone and it's easier for you to go to the negative, to speak that negativity over your life or to speak those lies in your life because you feel more comfortable in that place, I just want to encourage you. It is something far brighter on the other side of that negative darkness or of that lie. There is truth on the other side. And you know what? It's not too late. You can begin to speak truth into your life, wherever you may be, whatever it is you see yourself being or becoming. Start affirming that, start speaking the truth. Just like I said, when you begin to tell yourself, I'm just not enough because I just came through this relationship, they didn't want me. What's wrong with me? Why does it have to be you? How come it can't be something's wrong with them? Maybe they didn't see the beauty of who you were, male, female. Maybe they just didn't see the real you because they were too caught up trying to figure out who they were. Stop always putting the blame on you because you allow people to make you feel that way. And start beginning to speak life to you, to yourself. I'm just becoming. I haven't arrived yet, but I'm in the process. I'm on my journey of becoming. Okay. All right. So now this is a segment that we all can chime in on. This is something that I leave with you. Now, in this reflection questions that I want to leave with you, let's talk about these two things. Good morning, Shawnee Anderson on Facebook. Good morning. Thank you for chiming in. What are you drinking today? Did you already have your coffee? Okay. Did you have your coffee? I'm just now getting mine, but here we are. So, in today's message, we're really talking about the critic, talking back to your inner critic. So right now, this is a section, reflection questions that everybody in the community can join in. I have two questions for you that I want to leave with you for thought, for reflections. And at any time when you're ready, you can answer those questions for yourself, okay? You don't need to share that in the community. This is for you. All right. So with that, let's get into it. So, what's one lie your inner critic repeats and what truth can you replace it with? That's a good one. What's one lie your inner critic repeats? And what truth can you replace it with? That's good. All right. So, question number two, reflection question number two. How can you respond to yourself this week with more compassion than criticism? Hmm. So these two questions are really to help affirm you. They're really helping. They will help you to also start seeing yourself as more of truth telling versus another lie I'm going to tell myself based on what maybe somebody has said to me. So, once again, the second question, how can you respond to yourself this week with more compassion than criticism? Okay. All right. So, now this is the final sip. So let's talk about this. In this segment, this is where we begin to just come to a close. And I appreciate you all so much for just taking in and having coffee with me. But in the final sip, let's get into this. These are some final thoughts for you to take away with you, okay? The critic may live in your head, but it doesn't own your voice. Let me say that again. The critic may live in your head, but it does not own your voice. Choose grace over judgment and growth over guilt. So, hey, good morning, Leslie, over on YouTube. Yes, and you can. Before we come to the final close, I just want to say, yes, you absolutely can. These lives are done 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the morning. Morning Brew with Germaine, and we repurpose it for the 6:05 Eastern Standard Time in the evening for those that are heading home that wasn't able to chime in earlier. So you can still catch it, or you can always just catch it on a replay. So I always encourage people in the description, please make sure you go over to YouTube and join the community. All right. And then also post your comments there. Let me know if if it's been effective for you. If you find that you're using it maybe throughout your days, some of these coffee breaks, morning brews. And I want to hear your feedback. I want to know how you feel, what your thoughts are. Hey, if you totally disagree with it, let me know. This is always a teachable moment for me. So everybody, has the right to their comments. Everybody has the right to their opinions. So at the end of the day, I encourage it. Just let me know your thoughts. And in our final, you know how we do, we sip slow, we speak truth, and you're still becoming. Stay encouraged with that. You're still becoming. And that's more than enough. Okay. I hope this message, I hope today's brew topic, I hope it resonates with you. And once again, the topic for today's brew, talk back to your inner critic. You're not crazy because you're talking to yourself. Sometimes we need to talk to ourselves, right? We need to let that voice in our head know, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're not controlling and running anything here. Okay. I'm taking the power back over this body, over this vessel. So With that being said, I do want to share because I know a lot of people have been asking, how can we support you? So I just want to share with you, for as little as $1 a day, you could buy me a coffee. And you know what? And maybe you want to share and buy others a coffee. But you can actually just go to buymeacoffee.com/ morning brew with Germaine. It's that easy. Or you could just click on the QR code in the corner. But I thank you all so much just for taking the time out of your busy schedule to stop by and see what today's brew is all about. And it's been pure excitement for me. It's been encouraging for me just having those out there. I'm out in public and people's like, "Hey, I caught your coffee brew today." Whoo, I'm telling you, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. So I hope it is resonating with some people and with anybody that decides to stop by for coffee with me. Now, tomorrow is Mixed Blend Wednesdays. And like I stated, that is a new segment that we are going to be doing on Wednesdays, but it's new. So it may not be every Wednesday. So if we have a special guest coming in, or we have one of our monthly commentators that's going to be coming in, then we'll definitely announce it. But right now, I have to see if we have a guest for tomorrow. Because if we don't, then we'll be back with just another brew topic. Okay. But nevertheless, thank you all. Be safe, whatever you do today. I know school is back in session where we are here up north on the eastern, well, in Connecticut. School is back in session in probably most places. So just be thankful for another day we have an opportunity to be a blessing, to speak life into someone else's life on this journey, this thing called life. So have a great day. And if you like I said, I would love to get a coffee from you. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Be safe, whatever you do. Thank you. Bye bye now.